hope you're having a wonderful week after this week's episode about men's issues. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about another one of my favorite YouTubers who has a podcast. You may remember him from Fear Factor, or you may know him from his stand-up. Today, I'm talking about Joe Rogan. Now, I've wanted to do this episode about Joe Rogan for a long time, and I just couldn't figure out how to tackle it. He is by far one of my favorite YouTubers, and I just don't feel that I'm going to do him justice in this review, but I wanted to share because if you're not watching Joe Rogan, you really should be. Now, I will say that there are a lot of things that I don't agree with Joe Rogan about. He is a hunter. I'm a vegetarian who doesn't believe in hunting. He does own guns. He is an avid maniac when it comes to exercising. He's in incredible shape. I don't exercise a lot. And so there are some differences, but he is somebody to really look out for, especially if you want a lot of valuable information. One of the things Joe Rogan always says is he makes it a point to tell everybody that he's not smart, that he's just good at getting information from the smart people.
Dumb people are outbreeding smart people at a fucking staggering pace. And nobody ever even talks about it. But we all kind of know it's happening. And the real problem is most of us are dumb. We don't want to admit it. But really, how many of us are really smart? Look, I know I'm stupid. I know I'm stupid, but yet I'm smarter than almost everybody I meet. And the real problem with dumb people is they don't even know they're dumb. That's a part of being dumb, you're not aware. There should be a way to tell, like a home pregnancy test type thing. Some shit you take it home and you lick it and you go, oh, I'm a fucking idiot, shit!
But Joe, I disagree with you. I think you are incredibly smart, and I learn a lot from your podcasts. In one of my other episodes, I credit you, Joe Rogan, with my 33-pound weight loss because you've had podcasts that have been so informative. One thing I like about Joe Rogan is that he seems to see the world through his own eyes, as many of us do, and as a result, he sometimes has very strong opinions of why things are the way they are. I've heard him verbalize that he just thinks overweight people eat a lot and they are disorganized in their lives, etc. But take a look at this clip in which Peter Attia tells Joe Rogan how this isn't always true.
I have friends that are pretty overweight, and one that died pretty recently who was really big, and he just had this feeling when he would meet people. He talked about it a little bit. He was just obese.
Mm-hmm.
It was just this thing where you're just, oh, look at this enormous fat guy, and then to go from that to, oh, there's a guy, there's a normal guy.
Yeah,
that's just a guy. It's a 168-pound guy, normal. No difference between him and anybody
I gotta
else.
tell you, I know we love to beat up on fat people. We love to turn it into a character defect. But I gotta tell you, virtually every fat person that I know or that I've taken care of, they are not disproportionately eating more than their peers. In some cases, yes, but not on balance. The problem is that they simply do everything incorrectly metabolically. So their body is functioning incorrectly. Yeah.
One of the things I do like about Joe Rogan is although he has these very strong opinions, he's not afraid to be proven wrong. He embraces the information he gets, and I'm sure he does his research before he talks to these guests. Because when they're talking, he will discuss other studies that he's read, and he will get his assistant to bring those up on screen, and he'll read more. He's ever changing, and he's constantly learning. The podcast of his that really got me started, that I attribute my weight loss to, is the one in which he spoke with Dr. Rhonda Patrick about time-restricted eating.
One of the things that when we were talking about the muscle mass, I started thinking about this time-restricted eating. Have you heard about this at all, time-restricted eating?
A little bit.
like eating within like a certain time period that corresponds to like the day. It has really profound effects on muscle mass without any other factors, without having to exercise or anything. That's something that's extremely interesting. But this like time restricted eating it's very important for health and metabolism. So like when you wake up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee or, you eat, even a cup of black coffee, the first thing you put into your system that's not water starts all these metabolic enzymes, starts them in your liver, your gut, starts these enzymes. And those enzymes are on a clock because humans are diurnal creatures. We're meant to be awake and working and active and thinking during the day, and we sleep at night. So because we are active during the day, we're diurnal, all of our metabolism enzymes and all these things are active during the day. And things that activate them are light exposure, and also food intake. And xenobiotic is also something. So anything that gets metabolized, like by your system, by your liver, whatever, activates these enzymes. And once they're activated, they're on this like 12-hour clock where it's like, okay, so you're metabolizing glucose, fatty acids, all these things, well, if you're eating within that 12-hour clock. But when you go beyond that 12-hour clock, that's when things start to go really wrong, because your metabolism enzymes start to shut down and they're not doing things properly. So you're not like insulin responsive. You're not even fatty acids and things like that. Just metabolism in general is not working as well, after 12 hours.
Joe Rogan also got me very interested in longevity, which Dr. Peter Attia is also interested in, but also David Sinclair. And in this clip, he's speaking to David Sinclair about longevity and increasing our lifespan.
Like, what's best?
It doesn't actually matter if you eat a lot in the morning or a lot at night. I like nighttime eating. But you need a period during the day, at least if you're a mouse, probably if you're a human, where you're hungry. And that puts your body in a defensive mode. And these are the things that we've been studying in my lab for the last 20 years. What are the processes that diet and exercise do for us that keep us healthy, and why does calorie restriction and intermittent fasting make animals live so much longer? And we think we've figured out a large part of how that works, and now we're mimicking that with molecules.
Is the idea that you can mimic it with molecules and it'll be as effective as intermittent fasting?
I think the molecules will be better. And not only that, when we add them on to a healthy diet and exercise in the animals, they do even better. It's like a supercharged mouse.
Now, when you add them on to the mice, do you also add them on with intermittent fasting? And is there an additional benefit?
We do. One of the first molecules infamous molecules that we are known for is resveratrol from red wine.
Along with all of these very informative podcasts that he has, the list goes on with all the very famous and knowledgeable guests that he has on. But Joe also has a lighter side, and he brings on fellow comedians. Like this time that he brought on comedian and a filmmaker, Bobcat Goldthwait, was one of my absolute favorites. Take a look.
Bobcat Goldthwait, what the fuck you doing going to a Bigfoot convention and then a Mothman convention?
Well, no, not Mothman convention.
You're a smart guy. You're a grown man.
I just went to see where the Mothman was or had been.
Oh, there wasn't a Mothman convention?
No, because I was at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, which was less than 2 hours away from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where the Mothman appeared. And when I was talking with some of the, Bigfoot researchers, I said...
Do you do that with air quotes when you say that?
The researchers, I was talking to them and I said, hey, we're really close to where the Mothman was. And they're like, well, the Mothman's not real. Yeah, my brother, God rest his soul. He was a wild man.
What did he do for a living?
He was a sheet metal worker, and he rode bikes for a long time. He was always, there was always, our home when I was a kid was like, the movie Mask. It was just always bikes, and motor clubs would come over the house and keg parties and stuff like that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it helped me to go to the Bigfoot conference. No, yeah. So that's what I grew up with, guys named like Low Life and all these guys. And my mother was great because they would come in, my mother was sweet because she would only know their,
Their biker names?
Yeah. And so it'd be this, it'd be like,
Hello, shithead.
yeah, exactly. It would be like Lowlife showed up with a shirt that said Harley's the best, fuck the rest. And he's like, Lowlife, not in my house. Turn that, and so, sorry, Mrs. G.
Every year, Joe Rogan and a few of his comic friends have a contest on what is called Sober October. And it's Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, Burt Kreischer, and Schaffer. In this particular episode, they talk a little bit about Sober October and the rules. And they're a pretty funny group together. Enjoy.
So 10 classes of something. It can be hot yoga. It could be jujitsu. It can be spin, hot spin.
Some classes. Some
10
hip-hop
classes.
dance.
Hip-hop dance.
Whatever.
But it can
So-
also,
By the way, how great would have hip hop dance been now that you saw the video? We should have done that.
What,
that
your
was a
video?
great. That was a great video.
I knew what you were going to do. You're going to take your clothes off.
That hip-hop dance video was great, though.
I also
good.
danced.
yeah.
The dancing was okay.
It made me cry. It was so good.
I'm so shocked
It
that
looked
people
so
thought
good.
the
Made you
dancing
cry?
was good.
I was so angry. I got so upset.
Why were you upset?
But that people complimented him.
It was great.
this is not
it was
good.
great.
America's Got Talent reached out to me.
Jesus Christ.
They said,
They'll take
consider
anybody, bro.
They go, do you consider yourself more of a comedian or a dancer? I was like, do you not have a Google search engine on your?
So if you're looking for a podcast which is incredibly informative, check out Joe Rogan. And if you're looking for a podcast where you can see some of your favorite comics in everyday life having a conversation, also check out Joe Rogan. And the beauty of it is that when you watch a Joe Rogan podcast, you're getting 2 to 3 hours of Joe Rogan and his comic friends for free. Have a wonderful rest of the week and a great weekend, and I'll see you next week when Golden Hour has a new episode. Peace out, and go get your shine on.